Bob Woodward is back. You have some funny anecdotes about Paul Ryan in there, where he's a young kid. They didn't believe
he's 28 and he's elected, and he goes to the House floor, and they won't let him on because they say, "Oh, you're a staffer," and so he has to get one of those pins, and he has to get people to know him. But also, what was interesting, as soon as he went to Congress, he's a research guy, and he said, "How do you do a good job as a congressman?" So he went to, of all people, Barney Frank.
It was a great story.
And took him to breakfast and said, "What's the key?" And Barney Frank said, "Learn one thing. Learn it well, and don't just be a generalist."
And he did.
And he did. And it's the budget and money and our finances probably a very clear way, the most important issue in the presidential campaign we now face.
You spend a lot of time, it was at Georgetown. This is when the president said that Republicans, they want kids with autism and Down syndrome and the elderly to, quote, fend for themselves. Paul Ryan is sitting in the front row.
Right, and the president didn't know. This was somebody in his congressional relations. Yeah, I believe him, and there's evidence that he did not know.
Jack Ryan, by the way.
Yeah, and he called him Jack Ryan.
Right.
The Clancy character. But when I asked the president about this a couple of months ago, to his credit, he said that was a mistake. We made a mistake. We should not have done that. And he's quite right. And Ryan was... And the others were, wait a minute, he's poisoned the well. We're supposed to be able to work something out, and he has me there and sticks his finger in both eyes.
It was a bad moment. But I would argue, and this is the political side of me, so let me put that hat on for just a minute.
I understand it.
I would argue that this president does that a lot. Kids with autism, Down syndrome, the elderly will fend for themselves. Huh? I'm a conservative. No conservative advocates that. Even Bill Clinton regurgitated that at the DNC convention. But when you listen to the president and you watch him over time, he does this all the time. And here's what I don't understand. How does he explain what you detail in this book about this crisis, his lack of leadership? How does he explain $5.4 trillion in debt when he said George Bush was irresponsible for $4 trillion in 8 years, and we took a credit card to the Bank of China?
Well, he blames the Republicans, and he blames John Boehner. He said Boehner was the one who, and he's right, as you well know, there's a war going on in the Republican Party.
But Boehner was there with a deal that I wouldn't have liked as a conservative.
That's right. I understand
But then Obama adds another $400 billion to the deal?
Yes, and it was essentially for political reasons, and it derailed the whole thing. Now, whether it would have worked, we don't know, and it's if history to speculate. At the same time, I spent the last 4 years studying Obama on foreign policy and on this, and you, I know, are not going to agree with this, but there is a genuine progressive in him. And
I agree with that.
There is also a genuine blue dog, fiscal conservative.
Where?
Yeah, where? Well, look.
$6 trillion in debt?
Now, yes, but let me tell you this. He, early on in all of these budget negotiations, he said to Kent Conrad, the Democratic senator, he said, look, if I fix this, I'm willing to be a one-term president. When I talked to Obama, fair enough, he said, I'm willing to lose an election to get this right. So the rhetoric is there. It is this kind of engagement, this sense of, I have got to fix this. I've got the responsibility.
But you even admitted in your book, and I don't remember the exact words you used, but you said he failed.
Yes, he did.
Failed.
He did. Boehner failed.
But he could have made this happen.
But the president is the leader of the country.
Yeah.
And this is, I tell you that you know this. Any conservative knows this, any liberal knows this. We don't fix this, we're screwed as a country. Now, it should be the biggest issue in the presidential campaign, and it's not come up.
All right.
Why?
Look, I want people to read it because if they do, they will be angrier, if it's possible, at government in general, putting on both sides in this sense. But it is a very revealing, insightful book. Bob, good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks.
And coming up, Democrats are touting some newly released polls, but Karl Rove is here to expose the hidden truth behind those numbers. And then later, continued coverage of the breaking news tonight out of Cairo, where protesters have stormed the U.S. Embassy. What is President Obama going to do about it? The American flag was burned on the streets of Egypt. We'll have the very latest. Also, Rudy Giuliani, Dana Perino, and Juan Williams. All coming up straight ahead.
This program is brought to you by Land Rover.
John? Bill?
Every day, thousands of people are choosing Advil for their headaches.
My name is Sunshine, and I have 3 beautiful girls. I like taking Advil for a headache. It nips it in the bud. And I can be that mommy that I want to be.
Take action. Take Advil.